Good morning, students. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So, in the last class, I was asked to explain the process of building a torque and development of a speed of an induction machine. I will try to do that. Please feel free to stop me and ask me questions if anything is not clear to you. So, in simple way, if I look at it, an induction machine has a stator and rotor. The stator has three coils. Just think that metaphorically this has three coils. That is the stator. And the rotor also has three coils. Why I am drawing like this? Because stator and rotor at a certain point may not be aligned. This is the stator. That means we are giving supply to it. As we name it, we can name it as R phase, we can name it as Y phase, and we can name it as D phase. Rotor, in the case of a squirrel cage rotor, which is most often the case, we short the rotors. We short the rotor terminals. So what is that happening here is that this is a machine structure magnetically coupled. The stator and rotor are magnetically coupled, and then we then we apply voltage to the stator, right? Rotor, we should also note that if this is a rotor, rotor is coupled to a load. This is called load. Stator supply is here. Three stator supply is there. This is rotor. Rotor coils are shorted. They are shorted. This is stator supply. This is only the stator supply. Stator three-phase supply. Supply means voltage supply. You are applying voltages, three-phase voltages to this. Three-phase voltage you already know that is time shifted by 120 degree, right? And what is happening? Initially, let us say it is okay to assume that initially the rotor is at rest because it has not yet started. Only we have given a voltage to the stator. Let us say the stator supply frequency is omega s. This will say from now onwards, that is called stator supply frequency, electrical frequency. That is what is 50 hertz, 2 pi into 50. This is equal to 2 pi into 50. For simplicity, at this moment, we will assume that the machine is two-pole machine. For simplicity, it will not be different. Just take it for simplicity. This is this is a two-pole machine. Two-pole for not for generalization, but just simply for simplicity. For simplicity, we just assume this is two-pole. Right? Nothing more needs to be thought of. Is a load. Load is a mechanical thing. Okay. So load, when something is mechanical, anything has a characteristics. So load also has a characteristic. Normally the load characteristics, and you also can understand that since it is mechanical, its characteristics has to be given in the form of this: torque and speed. Load torque TL versus speed, mechanical speed, omega m. Omega m is the mechanical speed of the thing. And let us take a particular case, a fan kind of load. Fan kind of load has a characteristics of, let me do a little better job. Some kind of n square or n cube type of characteristics. Is that clear? Do you understand this meaning of implication of the characteristic? It means if the load is rotating, is the which is connected shaft. This is shaft. This is shaft. Suppose you rotate the load because it is connected to the shaft, rotor shaft. Therefore, if the rotor rotates, as if the load also will rotate. So if the load is rotated, then at certain speed, then the corresponding torque is here. If this is the speed, omega m1, the corresponding torque that is acting as a load to the shaft of the rotor. What do you mean by load? Load means it is opposing the rotation of the intention of the rotation of the rotor. What is intending, making it rotate in certain direction, is the torque produced by the electromagnetic reactions, interactions. So electromagnetic torque is a positive torque. If the rotor is rotating, let us say we think it this way. If the rotor actually, when it will rotate at this direction, omega m, the electromagnetic torque is causing the rotation, omega e, and omega m is the omega TL is the load torque, which is opposing the direction of rotation, which is trying to prevent it. That's why it is called load. Load means that. Load means whatever the general intention or general things happening, which is opposing this, like frictional force, which opposes the motion. The direction in which you are moving, it is acting against the direction of the motion, right? Similarly, in this rotational geometry, torque is the force. Instead of force, we use the term torque, but it is a Newtonian law. Eventually, the law, dynamic law, is J d omega m dt. It is a dynamic law because I am writing differential equation, is equal to T electromagnetic torque minus T, what I am writing, TE, yes, T electromagnetic torque minus T load torque. So you can easily understand under steady state. Under steady state means d omega by m by dt is equal to 0. T electromagnetic torque is equal to T load torque. This is what is nature will be doing eventually. If I let it, this thing at certain point of time, there has to be energy balance. Energy balance is very fundamental. Anything that happens in nature follows this law, energy balance. So this also will follow energy balance. Energy balance implying, because the energy of this thing is how much? And work done or energy, TL into omega. Torque into speed is power. So the power balance has to happen. Input power has to become equal to output power. So eventually, if this has to come to a steady state, meaning that no change is happening in any one of the variable, that is the rate of change of any variable is 0. That means system has become periodic. It doesn't mean that there is no motion. There is a motion. Speed is constant. It is not that displacement is not happening, rotation is not happening. It doesn't mean that. Rotation is happening, but the rate of change of that is constant. So that is become periodic. So that means this is the steady state. This is what is known as steady state. So this will be our final goal. Yeah, please.
What would be the graph of T versus omega m?
TE versus omega m, right?
Yes,
you are
sir.
asking. Yeah, I will go there. I'm saying right hand side I'm explaining. Left hand side I will explain now, because left hand side is the machine's job. TE. I will tell you that. Okay, just hold on. Just understand that you have to, whatever may be the TE characteristics. Let me say for the time being, T characteristics I'm generalizing. It may be these, but eventually it has to be this at this point. At this point, it has to. I don't know what is happening. It will not be like that. Obviously, it will not be like that. But I can imagine that TE characteristics is like that. And you see, I have drawn in such a way that all the time that TE is greater than TM, so that means it has accelerated. But when it comes to steady state, I'm sorry, I will not. Yeah, when it has come to steady state, you see this point. Think about this point. these two things have become equal. And you see another interesting point. What is that interesting point? Can you say me? That I will say that this is a stable point. Why? Can you say, can anybody say why this is a stable point? What do you mean by stable point? Means if it reaches that speed, it will stay there.
Cancelling is
Yeah, your thing is breaking a little bit. Tell me again.
the same, sir.
Same, sir, means?
So what
It is
you are
same.
saying is stable.
Why it is stable there? You do it this way. Suppose if for some reason the speed has increased a bit, then what happens? Mechanical torque is more than the electrical torque. Electrical torque is here, right? It is here. At that speed, it is here. So mechanical torque is more than the electrical torque. So that means speed will then again decrease, because J d omega m by dt is equal to negative if it has to go to high speed. So that means in this situation, this is the only point where it will be stable. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Right? You understand it. It cannot go, it cannot deviate from that point. Neither left hand side nor right hand side. If it deviates in the right hand side, you see that the electromagnetic torque is less than the mechanical torque, load torque. Therefore, its speed will reduce, isn't it? If the load torque is more than the electromagnetic torque, d omega by m dt is negative. So the speed will reduce. So it will come back to the same point where TE is equal to TL. And if it moves to the left hand side slightly, you see electromagnetic torque is more than the mechanical torque. So what does it mean? It will accelerate. So any speed than the steady state speed, it will again come back to the steady state speed. If it gets deviated for some reason, let me assume that it has deviated, but that deviation is producing a dynamic state, and the dynamic state direction is proper, correct. That means speed increased, the dynamic torque is then negative, overall torque on the rotor is negative, shaft is negative, and the speed decreases. And if the speed is for some reason reduced, the electromagnetic torque is becoming more than the mechanical torque or the load torque, and therefore it will again come back to the steady state speed. Okay, so the dynamic process, only in the dynamic process, one of them is more than the other. Only in the dynamic state, one of them is more than the other, right? And it so happens. So what are you concluding from here? We conclude that in the beginning, when the mechanical speed is 0, the electromagnetic torque has to be more than the load torque. You see here, here. This is the electromagnetic. This is the load torque, but the corresponding electromagnetic torque are all greater. All greater means it is then pulling it up, and at certain point of time when they match, and after that there is a slope constraint that further increase in the speed will reduce the torque. That is the thing has to happen. Okay, so so it so happens in our induction machine. It so happens in our induction machine. Induction machine torque speed characteristics, as someone of you was asking. I will draw it, but this will happen when I'm just drawing it, but it will look like that I have somehow configured it. I have somehow conjured it, like thought about it. It is not that. It comes through the machine circuit and model. It will come. We will prove that. But qualitative understanding is very important. Qualitative understanding, if you don't have, there is no meaning in studying this. So qualitatively, the torque speed characteristics, we will see that it happens like this. This is what is the electromagnetic torque speed characteristics. TE characteristics. versus omega. This omega m is equal to actually omega s. Omega s is what? Anybody? What is omega s? I said
Synchronous speed.
synchronous speed. In this case, synchronous speed for a two-pole machine, synchronous speed is the same speed as the stator supply. Okay, I have not yet defined synchronous speed. I will define it a little later. I will define, right? So two-pole machine, these two things are not different. So that's why I first want you to understand two-pole machine. Unnecessary complications we don't have to bring, right? So this is that thing, and the load torque characteristics is like that. Okay, for a particular load, I am not dictating. I am not saying that the all load torque characteristics are like that. I am not saying that. I am just giving you an example. This is for a fan load, but because you understand, the mechanical load may be different. There is nobody can dictate that induction machine has to work only with pump load or fan load or this load or that load. It should be able to work with many different kinds of loads, right? So you see, first of all, you see that this is a very stable point. This is the load torque characteristic. This is a very stable point. You see that the moment speed increases, the electromagnetic torque drastically reduces. So it will always come back. And prior to that, if it is there, here the electromagnetic torque is more. But the beauty thing is that it has developed as negative slope. It is developing. It is more, but the more speed you are increasing, the slope is negative. So this is the stable zone. This is what is known as stable zone. Stable zone of the torque production. The slope is negative because the slope is negative. Slope is negative. So it will reach it and stay there. It will reach it, sir. So electromagnetic torque, had it been different, had it been this type, then also it would have been okay. Then also would have been okay. Let us say this is another load torque, TL2. It would have operated slightly different speed. The steady state speed. That's why I am saying that this automatically finds out the steady state speed. It will be slightly different depending upon the nature of the load torque speed characteristics. This is TL1 and this is TL2. It will find out slightly different speed. So don't think that we are dictating speed. We are not dictating speed. We are dictating a characteristics. That is called what we can do in a machine size. We can only produce that characteristics TE, which is two variable characteristics, omega m versus torque. It is neither dictating omega m nor dictating TE. It is putting a curve. That is why it is called characteristics. Like voltage source. What is the characteristics of a voltage source? This. That means irrespective of the current, the voltage is this much. That is what voltage source characteristics is. Similarly, in a machine, as I said, it is a torque source, torque producer. Electrical machine is a torque producer. So it will decide. So even a voltage source, there are two variables: magnitude of the voltage versus current. So here it will be also having two variables: magnitude of the torque versus the speed. So how the actual in a circuit, how this thing works? Then you, let us say, a voltage source, you connect a resistance. What is the characteristics of the resistance? Characteristics of the resistance is this. We call it load. This is what load characteristics. Where they intersect the work, that is the work characteristic. Similarly here, this is the load characteristics, mechanical loads characteristics. And since this is a mechanical thing, its characteristic has to be mechanical terms, torque versus speed. And these two things will intersect and work. Any question up to this? Then I will say how it is climbing up this kind of torque a little qualitatively. I will then go there. I will not tell mathematically, but I will tell qualitatively what is happening there. Why it has this kind of nature, electromagnetic torque. Mechanical torque characteristics, mechanical people will tell why it has a nature like that. That is not our business. They will tell about fan, write the dynamic equation of the fan, They will produce a fan type of load, torque characteristics, and they will tell you. They will tell you why the characteristics is like that. Okay. So any question up to this? Any question? Okay. So if there is no question, then let's try to think why the characteristics is resembling like that. What is happening at this? What is happening at this? What is happening at this is this. You have applied a voltage to the stator. The moment you have applied a voltage to the stator, irrespective of anything, the flux is developed. Irrespective of anything, the flux is developed in the machine. The flux is developed in the machine because of Faraday's law. Faraday is not bothered about anything. Faraday is simply linking voltage and flux, rate of change of flux, which and you can see that the electrical system is under almost like coming quickly under steady state. Electrical time constants are very, very small compared to the mechanical time constant. Mechanical time constant is like J, moment of inertia, all those things are much higher. So therefore, electrical system, though there is a little transient time, they are in much lower order compared to the mechanical time constant. So you can think that instantaneously electrical system has developed some amount of current. I have not yet known. I don't care to know in the coils, in the stator coils, and that current are all sinusoidal, are all time shifted by 120 degree, and the coil axes are shifted by 120 degree. So a rotating magnetic field has been produced, and this rotating magnetic field, listen to me carefully, is magnitude of the rotating magnetic field, right? Resultant rotating magnetic field. That means what we define here in the earlier equations as phi AR. It is unchanged. It is unchanged as long as CHANGED, as long as supply frequency is unchanged and magnitude of the voltage is unchanged. VS magnitude. VS supply stator voltage magnitude is unchanged. As long as that is unchanged. That is unchanged. If these two things are unchanged, the flux will remain unchanged. Right. This is the first point you have to fathom. First point you have to absorb. That voltage there, you always start here. In the analysis, there are various lot of variables. It may get intertwined and it may get complicated, but your thought process should be clear. You should think from voltage. If you have applied voltage, that is a fact. And the moment you have applied voltage through a three-phase system of through a three-phase coil system, which are 120 degree space shifted, you will know that there is a rotating magnetic field created, and that magnetic field is unchanged, and the magnetic field speed is also unchanged. So what happens in the rotor now? The rotor was stationary, but the coils are shorted. So what will happen to the rotor voltage? Rotor will see that a magnetic field is going past him, and then the rotor will develop voltage. At what frequency? It will be the difference between its own speed and the speed of the rotating magnetic field. Now, rotating magnetic field is omega s, and in the beginning means here the speed is 0, rotor speed is 0, omega rotor. I will say rotor speed as, we'll use omega rotor as defining as the rotor speed. Rotor speed. Therefore, I will define omega s minus omega rotor is equal to omega r. Omega ER is the frequency of the voltage induced in the rotor. of the voltage induced in the rotor. Is that okay? A voltage is induced. In the beginning, omega r, omega rotor is equal to 0. So omega s is equal to omega r. So then comes the second equation of torque equation. Torque equation, we have seen that what is the torque equation? What is the torque equation we have seen? Torque equation is torque, electromagnetic torque. I am not putting P by 2. P by 2 will always come. What was the torque equation? Phi AR and FR into sine of delta R. That was the torque equation. So phi AR has been decided. Now the rotor is short circuited. So FR and sine delta R, this product under that condition is such that it produces a torque which corresponds to this. Which corresponds to this. This is the electromagnetic torque and this is omega. I am writing now omega m. Later I will write whatever. It is mechanical thing. At this moment it is a two-pole machine, so it is omega s. Anyway, I have not come up to this. I am here. So I am here and I am saying, so there is no reason torque will not be produced because there is a voltage and there is a current. There is a current in the rotor coil. So rotor coil has got a current and there is an angle between these two. Sine delta is not 0. There is an angle between these two, and this angle, note that here sine delta, when it will reach steady state almost, that means here, steady state is here. Let me also show the steady state point. So steady state point. So this point you can say sine delta R is nearly equal to 1. Here sine delta R is poor. Sine delta R is very poor, is nearly equal to, let us say, nearly equal to 0. I am simplifying it this. Nearly 0 is not the correct value, maybe it's equal to 0.2, about 0.2. So what happens is you can see that to produce that, you can see one interesting thing that torque wise, these 2 points are almost same. These points steady state torque, isn't it? Torque wise, what it is producing the torque, they are almost same. But since this delta R is 1 here and delta R is 0.2 here, the current is much higher. Current will be about 5 times compared to the torque. That this is called rated torque or full load torque. This is called T rated. This will be called T rated or T full load. Okay, so you have to physically understand that delta is making the big difference. Even when the torques are equal, if the delta is poor, then correspondingly current goes high. So that's why the machine, when it is starting, it is drawing huge amount of current. But we don't care because machine is not staying in that state for a long time. It will draw huge current. It may not be good, but it will draw and it will start because the torque at this instant is greater than the load torque. The machine will move. Has to move. The rotor has to move, right? So in this, then as if the speed is increasing, as per its characteristics, what is happening is gradually the omega s minus omega rotor, because omega rotor is increasing, which is equal to omega r is reducing as it is speeding up. As it is speeding up, what is happening is, one sense the current is the voltage induced, voltage oblique current in the rotor is reducing as well. That is also reducing as well. But what is happening is sine delta is also improving. So sine delta is going from 0.2 to better sine delta. So as a result, it is overall combined effect of that is current is reducing, but sine delta is improving. So still the torque is more than whatever was the starting torque. This torque is called T start, starting torque. This is a very important torque. Synchronous motor doesn't have this torque. So synchronous motor doesn't start, self-start. Induction motor self-start. Big thing. You didn't need any help from anybody. Right? It only thing is that it started in a very non-optimum manner. In order to produce the same torque as it would be producing in the full load situation, it drew huge current. And we have understood why the current is this, because the angle between, at that instant, the angle between flux and the rotor MMF, these two space phasors is not good, is very nearly equal to 0.2 or 0.1. But as the situation is improving, as it is speeding up, it is producing more torque under less current, because the angle is going towards 90 degree. The angle between this phi AR and FR is the MMF, is going towards 90 degree. So that is what is happening, and that is good. So even though load torque is increasing, at any speed this is more. So at any speed this is more means it will speed up. Like that the speed continues. But at hello, anything?
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, means can you explain again that means how if when the rotor is speeding up, the relative speed is decreasing, so the current is reducing, but how delta is changing means FR and phi are always stationary with respect to each other, so delta should be constant, but how delta is changing?
Delta should not be constant. Who is making it constant? It is not making it constant. Delta is changing because of the, you understand that that is why the mathematical model is required, but I will give you a little feel of it. If the rotor current power factor is improving, that can you see that, meaning that as the speed is increasing, relatively omega value is reducing. So rotor coil is R rotor plus J omega rotor omega R into L. R rotor plus J omega R into rotor inductance, let us say LR. Let us say I'm putting that. Okay. Yes or no? Who asked?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You understand the rotor coil is shorted, but still it has some resistance, and it has a leakage reactance of this. Okay. So what is happening? You tell me. Since omega R is reducing, this quantity is gradually reducing. Do you agree or not?
Yes, sir.
Relatively speaking, resistance cannot change, coil resistance cannot change, but as it is speeding up means omega reduction. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So this quantity, if it reduces in a circuit, can you tell me what is happening? It is improving power factor, because power factor is what? Tan inverse omega R LR by RR, right?
Yes, sir.
So that means what? That means these two current, the current is having closer and closer, it is coming almost in phase with the voltage that is induced. And the voltage and flux are 90 degree apart. Got it? No. Still, probably you are not getting. You please.
Yes, yes, I got. Means FR that delta will come close to 90 degree, na? Then
Yeah.
And
That. You see that. You see, I'm showing it. Suppose this is the voltage induced in the rotor, magnitude wise. What is happening to the power factor is, initially power factor was like this. Power factor was like this, because in the beginning omega R was large, and tan inverse omega LR, that angle was large. Okay, so what is happening in later and later is that power factor I am missing from this thing. Power factor angle. I mean power factor angle. That is phi.
So means delta will be 90 plus phi, na? Delta.
Wait. So this fellow is coming. This is the current. Okay, yes or no?
Yes,
or
sir,
no?
yes.
This voltage and this is rotor current. Yes or no? Omega. This is voltage and current, because the inductive part is strong. If the inductive part of a circuit is strong, voltage and current has more phase angle. Yes or no? Right?
Yes.
Right. Now, what is the then gradual process? What is happening? The current magnitude is reducing and the power factor is improving. So it is gradually coming, taking a trajectory like this. Okay, current is reducing because the voltage induced is less, and the power factor is also improving, or phase angle is reducing. So what is happened? This is I, later I, and you know voltage and flux is where? Flux is where? Flux is here. Phase phi AR. So what is the angle? Angle is gradually improving, and this is the delta angle. This is the delta angle, because if IR means FR, MMF, IR means MMF. So this is the delta angle. So this delta angle is approaching 90 degree. Okay.
Yes, sir, understood, sir.
Understood. So that is why this this thing is improving in power factor, as well as improving in sine delta value. And we know that approximately sine delta is equal to cos phi. We know that. Okay. So this quantity is coming here. Then at certain speed it will reach the maximum possible torque. It is possible. It is the maximum possible torque that comes mathematically. We will show that, because it is given from a constant supply. It is not that it can develop any infinite, but that is also common sense. Given a supply, limited supply, it will not go beyond a certain value of peak torque. That is called maximum torque. It cannot go. It cannot go. Right? So this cannot go, and then, but still the torque developed is more than this torque, this thing. So still it will accelerate. Speed will increase. Speed will still continue to increase. But the good region is now coming here. That speed is increasing, but the torque is reducing. That good region, that negative slope region is coming. This negative slope region is giving us hope that it will reach steady state. It will go. Otherwise, you see that it would have continuously increased. Speed would have continuously increased. But this good region is there. Until that good region is there, machine doesn't stop. Machine doesn't go and stand there. So it has a good region where the slope is negative. Slope negative means speed increasing, torque reducing, electromagnetic torque. So at certain point, then it comes down and becomes equal to that. And then here it operates stably, because if it goes this direction, speed increase, for some reason speed increases, the electromagnetic torque is then less than the mechanical torque. This is the mechanical torque, therefore it will climb back. Come here, climb back. If it goes there, climb this. So it will move on this there. This is the rated point. It will always have a direction like this, operating direction. So,
sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what will happen if the red load line is such that it intersects the TE curve on the left hand side before the Tmax?
Good question. You're saying this, right? Something like that.
Yeah, something of that sort.
That means suppose the load torque characteristics is like that, right? Is it like that, or you are
yes,
saying
sir.
that load? Yeah. If
so even that, you know, like we.
Yeah, you are saying this. Or probably you are saying.
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You are saying this. So this is. You tell me what will happen. It is supposed to work there, but it is not a stable point. It is not a stable point. So it will not reach there. It will either move and come down 0 speed. It will reach down again, come down to 0 speed. It will not go there. For some reason, if it will accelerate, come here. Now after that, the torque developed is equal to this, more than the is less than the load torque. So this what is happening here? Torque developed is less than the load torque, so it is coming back, right? Load torque is more, so it is bringing back, and here even this is correct. Even this is a stable point.
Sir,
Yeah.
so means I have a question means regarding the maximum torque. So means the torque will means from the graph as the rotor speed is increasing, omega r is decreasing, so the delta becomes close to 90 degree, right? Means phi becomes closer to 0 degree. But means at the means when at the limiting point when delta equal to 90 degree, then means omega the speed of the rotor is equal to the synchronous speed. Then at that time the current everything will be zero, induced voltage will be zero. Then how can be a torque at that point?
That is at this point. That is at this point when these two speeds have become equal. This is not at, this has not become equal to omega s.
Means the maximum torque is not at delta equal to 90, means some other angle.
Some other angle.
Okay.
But
Okay.
the current is more. This is not 90 degree. Not 90 degree. 90 degree. This is not 90 degree. This is not 90 degree. 90 closer to 90 degrees here, and this is very close to 90 degree. This would have been 90 degree, but this is maybe 88 degrees. 88 degrees. But for all practical purposes, we think that it is 90 degrees. But what the problem here is, then the current is equal to 0, I is equal to 0, FR is equal to 0, because the voltage has collapsed. So it cannot produce lot of torque here.
So means how means what is the means actual stable region, means how means what, how can you determine that? Means at the two edges the machine is not stable, then which part is the stable region?
Stable region, you tell me what? If for some reason something changes, it comes back to the same region, same point. That is the stable point. Here you see that if for some reason the speed has increased, then what is happening? Tell me what is happening. More speed has produced more load torque than the electromagnetic torque. Okay, so more load torque than the electromagnetic torque means it comes back. Okay, so the stable region's basic point is that these two slopes should be in opposite direction. I will come to this later. I'm probably analyzing it wrongly. I will come to that. I will come to that little later. So what I'm saying is that here you first think that if the speed for some reason reduces, load torque is less and the developed torque is more, the speed will increase. Here what we see, if for some reason if the speed is this, load torque is less, developed torque is more, it will increase. It will increase. So it will come back to this. If for some reason speed has increased, load torque is this. Why this is happening? The load torque curve is so overwhelmingly high slope. This also can be a stable region. Very rarely that happens, but mathematically that is also a stable region, because you see high. Why? There is no reason why it cannot be considered as stable. If for some reason the speed increases, developed torque is this much, load torque is this much, so it will come back.
So means the stable region will be that region where if we increase the load torque, the electromagnetic torque also increases, and if we decrease the load torque, then electromagnetic torque also decreases, right?
No. If we increase delta omega m, right, then this T E minus T m has to be less than 0. If delta omega m is positive, then this has to be, if delta omega m means that point what to say, ms, delta omega m, that specific value of omega s at which you are doing this analysis. If delta omega s is negative, then what has to happen is TE minus TM has to be greater than 0. These are the conditions for stable operation. Then it is stable at omega ms, where TE is equal to TM. Yes, is it okay? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You have to see that it comes back to the same point.
So
What's-
sir, in the red line, which is almost horizontal, the second one will be the stable operating point, right?
Yes, you should analyze it that way. The second one is the stable operating point, not the first one. First one cannot be the stable operating point. Another problem is there, but for the time being, you ignore that. Another problem is how does it start? Because initially I am showing that the mechanical torque is more than the developed torque at 0 speed. So how does it start? So one question may be asked, how does it start? Okay, under such things there is a trick. There are some ways I can increase the initially the load torque, initially the developed torque. There is some ways. I am not teaching that. These are speed control, etc. I will come to that. So please don't go to the, you please understand the philosophy first. Intricacies will define, because that then otherwise the talk always goes into a different direction. And now I need to develop the mathematical model to give you more feel of the mathematical thing. But I wanted to give you a kind of conceptual understanding as well. So how does it develop? So that means this torque has to be initially built up higher. This black line has to have this kind of initial torque has to be more. There is more, so that it starts. So later it can be coming to this fellow. So this type of way. So that is called a starting torque development build up this. But for looking at the stable operating point, you should consider this or this and analyze. Look at this. Look at this. This is not stable with respect to this line. Why? Because at this point, if I give plus delta m, I get more electromagnetic torque than the load torque. That means it further speeds up. That means it will not stay here. It will come and stabilize here. It is not a stable point like this, because it is increasing, because mechanical torque is less than that, right? So it will stabilize there. So such things you have to see if this has to operate stably, whether at that operating point, if I give a perturbation, we call it perturbation. In control language, it is called perturbation. Perturbation in that steady state speed, delta omega m, positive perturbation, then the developed torque minus developed torque minus load torque. Developed torque minus load torque has to be negative, and other case it has to be positive.
Sir, sir, in that horizontal load and load characteristics, sir, in the second point, if we give plus delta, means if we increase the omega, then load torque will increase, right?
Which is the second point? This is first point. This is second point. Which one is second point?
Yes, sir, this is the second point, which you have marked.
So this is not stable point.
Yes, this is not. Yes, sir. In the second point, if we increase omega, then load torque will increase. And
load torque will increase. Hello, listen. Why load torque will increase? Load torque is this. Why load torque will increase? Load torque is a straight line.
Acha, is a straight line. Okay, then if we increase the omega, acha, okay, sir, understood.
So, right. So this is how the machine reaches its steady state. Okay. Now I will start. I am already coming to the Anybody has any question? Anybody else? Please don't hesitate. If you have question, ask. I will try to answer. But now I will just start building the model of the induction machine, mathematical model of the induction machine. Okay, then let me start a little. I definitely won't be able to finish it, but we'll continue in subsequent class. So I am drawing the machine in this way. I am drawing the machine in this way. Now I am drawing a 4-pole machine. Okay, I am drawing a 4-pole machine. 4-pole machine, you know, this is dot. Where will I put the cross? Corresponding cross? Where will I put? 4-pole machine?
It's a 90-degree apart.
Yes, 90 degree. This is for one. This is one for this, and this is another with. That means if I name it as 1, I name it as 1 dash, meaning that they are the same coil, part of the same coil. This is 2, I name it as 2 dash. Okay, and I am thinking that this is let us say it is a stator coil. Let me draw a I'll try to draw. I don't know whether how good I will be in drawing. This is, I want to show the magnetic field perturbation here. Let me try to draw first a circle as good as I can. I'll put lot of air gap. Okay, you will be able to understand, I hope. So I am drawing now. Think it clear. Just one coil. This is a rotor part, right? And therefore a magnetic field has been created by somebody. This is rotor, let us say. Maybe rotor coil. Maybe magnetic field has been created by the rotor coil and combined things of rotor and stator coil. But somebody has created a magnetic field. I am developing the voltage induced equation. So for a 4-pole machine, what is the voltage induced equation? So what I'm saying is the magnetic field that has been created due to whatever reasons. Reasons could be current in the stator coil as well as the current in the rotor coil. But when I'm concentrating the voltage induced in the stator coil, I must not lose focus. I must not think anything else. I must think that this is a stator coil and a magnetic field is there in the air. The cause of the magnetic field at this moment is not important, because I know the magnetic field is created by the current in both stator and rotor coil, right? That doesn't change the voltage equation. Whatever current may be the thing there, the only thing that changes that affects the voltage equation is the resultant magnetic field and speed of rotation. No other thing decides it, right? So this is the magnetic field profile. Let me do a little profiling here. Profiling means when I'm doing this, you may think that it is North Pole or South Pole, whatever convention you want to feel. And this is sinusoidal. I am trying to show that they are sinusoid. My objective is to show that this is sinusoid. This is sinusoid. I'm not doing good job, but you understand the idea. Idea is very important. This is a sinusoidal magnetic field. So there are 2 cycles of such thing I have to create, because this is a 4-pole machine. So that means you may think this is flux direction, all radial. Must not forget the flux direction radial, irrespective of the bad way I am drawing. Irrespective of that, you must think that all are radial. This is also crossing the air gap and coming through this. Must understand that this is there. This is iron, so it is going there. It is there in the iron part. I'm trying to show it in the air gap, right? So the flux lines are getting completed like this. It is getting completed like that, right? So let us say that I am first focusing on the coil 1. So where is the first? When you focus, we draw is the coil axis. So the coil axis, you can see that is here. Let us say coil axis. This is coil axis. And that we consider as theta is equal to 0 reference, right? And with respect to that, we think that the magnetic field, a rotating magnetic field, is located at this point let us say rotating magnetic field is located at this point, and this angle with respect to this is theta m. M suffix is mechanical. Theta m is equal to 0. Theta m. I am just doing that to be equal to this. So you tell me what will be the flux linked by the coil 1 dash. All the we have to count, take care of all the flux lines that is going. At the thing I have drawn is aligned to this picture, the red color picture, which is qualitatively showing the position of the magnetic field, resultant magnetic field at certain instant t is equal to 0. T is equal to 0. We are showing the position of the rotating magnetic field at t is equal to 0. It is aligned to the 1 dash coil axis, but at a certain time t, it might have moved. This arrow is showing the peak of that. It might have moved and became, and the peak is long located at this, because they are sinusoidally distributed. The flux line is sinusoidally distributed, but at a certain instant it has moved at certain instant t, and the peak is at this, at t. This is where the peak is, at t. But one should know, not just focus on one peak. One should know, to find out the voltage, that how much is the flux linked by the coil, okay, at an instant t. I know that if the flux line, if the flux was aligned to the coil axis, what would have been the flux linkage of that? What would have been the flux linkage if they were aligned? So think about that, and the next class we'll see. And what is the difference that will make? What is the flux linkage if the rotating magnetic field is aligned to the coil axis? How much is the flux? Integrate, just integrate. How much is the flux linkage if it were aligned to this, right? And what is the flux linkage it would be if it has moved at an instant t, that is, the peak has moved at an angle theta m with respect to the coil axis at an instant t. So how do I then find out how much is the flux linked by the coil 1 dash at that instant t? You may see that the total flux that is linked by the coil is equal to minus pi by 4 to pi by 4. Why pi by 4 to this is minus, this is 0 degree. So between this, we are considering between this, right? We are considering between this, whatever is happening, how many flux lines are going. So minus pi by 4 to dm into cos of what? 2 theta m. You see the excursion angle. Theta m is the mechanical angle. 2 theta m into r d theta m into length of the machine. Length of the machine is in this dimension, that is L into L. So that is the flux linked by the coil 1,1. So this is, I will say, psi 1,1 dash coil linked at an instant t is given by this, right? So t, how do we define t? Theta m is equal to omega into t. Theta m is equal to omega m into t. Theta m is the mechanical angle, omega m is the mechanical speed. Okay, I will stop here and next class will start. Thanks for listening.
Sorry, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So can you please give me 10 minutes after this lecture?
Okay. Who is speaking?
If you are free.
Is-
Sir,
who-
Sumit,
Sumit is okay.
one of the TAs.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.